Welcome guys. I get some questions sometimes about what type of camera to use for your broadcast. I'm going to show you two cameras real quick that we use for live streaming. First I'm going to show you is this Panasonic. It's a standard definition camera. However, don't be fooled because I said standard definition. A lot of people think, oh, I need HD, I need this, I need that. Really, realistically speaking, when you're doing high definition broadcast, if your end user can't receive it that way, it will downgrade to standard definition. The main thing you want is the picture quality. You want to make sure your picture quality is superb. This standard definition camera can do it. This camera is a professional camera, so it's not like you know, they call them consumer cameras. Something you can just go in Best Buy and say, hey, give me a good HD. Yeah, you go get a good HD and this camera will outwork the HD you got from Best Buy. I'm gonna tell you why. Certain features on here that gives you the ability to control every aspect of your shoot. First thing I'm going to say is this camera has a professional 3CCD chip built into it. So what that means is from the lighting, from the quality, as far as the crispness of your video, and just the true colors, this camera will give you that out the box, okay? There are also some really cool features that let you control the different aspects. First thing I'm going to show you is this focus ring. It lets you kind of focus on what you want to focus on. The worst thing with the consumer cameras is when you try to focus on something, and because it's on autofocus and doesn't really have a focus ring, it focuses on something you really didn't want to focus on, and they get blurry in the middle of your broadcast. This camera won't do that because you can do two things. You can do a full auto. What full auto does is it'll do like those those consumer cameras you get from Best Buy, where it will focus on a certain thing really quickly. But it also gives you the ability to focus on whatever you want yourself through the focus ring. And you also can go manual, where you can just do the focus ring by yourself. This also has a zoom ring. Really cool feature. Why? Because sometimes doing this little zoom on a rocker, you be like, you're trying to zoom in fast, you're trying to zoom out slow, and it's kind of hard to do. This has a zoom ring. It has a little thing on it right here where you can hold it. You can control your zoom yourself just by sliding that back and forth. I love that feature because that way I can kind of control my zoom the way I want. It may be a little bit slower than what the rocker does, maybe a little bit faster. All right. Another thing this camera has, which allows you to shoot in different situations when it comes to lighting, it has three features I'm going to talk about. It has the gain feature, has the iris feature, and your shutters feature. What that means is the gain allows you to boost the light signal when you're shooting. So if you're shooting a low light situation, you can basically boost your gain, and you'll see your picture increase as far as lighting. It gives you the iris feature. So that means if you the difference when you're watching TV. Let's say if you're watching a concert on the Grammys or something like that, or you're watching TV, and you're like, man, how did they get that shot? Looks so clean, looks so clear. That's the iris. What they're doing is with the iris, it says, I want this much light to come in so it won't overexpose your shot. Sometimes you want to just capture maybe just the thing that's lit up. Sometimes you want to, capture the whole environment that you're shooting. The iris does that. So it allows you to kind of control what you're focusing on. When I say focus, I'm not talking about the actual blur part of it, but what your eyes are actually picking up as far as the light. The other thing is the shutter speed. It lets you kind of slow down your shutter speed or speed it up depending on what you want to do to get more of a clearness in your shot. When you increase your shutter speed, though, it does kind of decrease the light value, so it kind of brings your light down. But when you lower your shutter speed, it does open up the lighting. So those features there alone are why I recommend this camera. However, there's a lot more features that I probably won't have time to go over. One thing I will tell you too, it has a really good mic on it, and it also has a XLR, two XLR inputs. So if you want to run direct audio, like for example microphones directly to this camera when you're broadcasting live for interview purposes, if you're doing something like a red carpet, this camera I will recommend because for live streaming, because you can run your microphone that you're going to interview with right into this camera and then send it out to your stream. So this camera, like I said, it's a really good camera. It gives you your levels and all that stuff. But let me show you the big brother. And this camera also, I want to say this, it gives you the different frame rates. So you can shoot in 24p progressive scan, and what that simply does is it allows you to shoot in like a cinematic or the movie feel, true movie feel, not something you do in post-production. It'll film it in that way. This camera right here is the HD version of that camera I just showed you. Me personally, if I had a choice, I would tell you I would recommend this camera. Why? Because this is like a hybrid. Not only will this camera shoot in standard definition like the camera I just showed you, but also shoot in full HD. The last camera I showed you is Mini DV. This camera is Mini DV and P2. So that means you can record to a Mini DV tape or you can record to P2 cards. That's really, really important when it comes to editing. This camera has all the same features. Few things I'm going to point out. First thing you'll probably notice is that it's a bigger lens. Bigger lens meaning more light can come in, better quality. This camera still has all the features that the other one had, the gain, the focus ring, the zoom ring, the shutter and all that stuff. One big difference with this camera other than being HD is that it lets you change your frame rates. So you can shoot in 12 frames per second if you like to do time-lapse videography, stuff like that. For your live stream you can do that. But it also lets you shoot all the way up to 60 frames per second. And it even gives you the ability to change what you're shooting if you're shooting 480p, if you're shooting 720, 1080, all that stuff, all the different things. This camera, people won't know this, but this camera is actually the camera they used to cover the 2010 Olympics, and it's actually the camera that they still use in Fox News outlets across the nation in the field to cover stuff. So if you want something that's going to give you something that looks like what you see on TV that the big boys use, that's the camera. I'm going to put links in this video for both of these cameras to show you where you can get it. I'm telling you right now, these cameras don't cost a lot. I'm going to put the links on where we get them from. If this camera retail, I believe it's $2,700. The cameras we have are usually about between $600 and $700, and you can even get a warranty. And these right here, these retail for about $4,000 to $5,000, and we have them for as low as about $16,000. So, you know, I'm gonna put the links in the bottom so you can see. But that is what I recommend as far as the type of cameras. We have some other ones too. I don't have time to go over all of them, but I'll put a link in the bottom of the video so you can see some of the other ones we have. We have some that have HDMI, direct out, stuff like that, because people like that feature. And different types of cameras. Some have interchangeable lenses. But these are two that I recommend that are good starters to give you the look you need, the quality you need for live streaming and live broadcasting. Alright, stay tuned for the next video. I'm going to show you how to use all these things. You probably see more stuff on the table back there. I'm going to show you how to use all these things to kind of get the quality you want and quality you need. Alright, thanks for watching.